Okay, bye-bye.
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 So there's another movie I saw a while ago. This is Kingsman, The Secret Service. It just came out a couple weeks ago. And I'd seen the trailers for it. I thought it looked sort of interesting, but didn't really realize that it was rated R. I thought it was going to be a PG-13, and once I realized that it was rated R, kind of piqued my interest a little bit more because I figured they'd go for like more violence, and it was interesting because it has this teams up director Matthew Vaughn again with graphic novel, comic book artist, writer Mark Miller. They worked together previously with Kick-Ass, which is an awesome movie. It's like one of my favorite movies of that year when it came out. That was really original, surprising, and everything like that. So I really liked Kick-Ass. And since then, Matthew Vaughn also worked on the X-Men First Class movie, which was really good. I like that one as well. So I was interested to see him direct another movie, and then so again working with Mark Miller. And what I read or heard that they had actually Mark Miller wrote the comic book just in hopes of turning it into a movie and stuff like that right away. They already had that planned, which doesn't really surprise me nowadays. They turn everything into a movie right away. So in the movie, follows a group of spies known as Kingsmen. They're a non-government agency, so it's just like their own spy agency, and we're introduced to a couple of the figures right away. Most notably, Harry Hart, also known as Galahad, is his code name, and he's played by Colin Firth. So he's pretty much our main protagonist for a majority of the film. And we see him in like the Middle East doing he's on some sort of job, and one of the other agents gets killed. He like sacrifices himself, and I can't remember if he was. Oh, I don't know if he had a code name or not. But anyways, that guy that gets killed ends up being the father of one of our other main protagonists, Gary Unwin. Eggsy, as everybody calls him Eggsy is his name. They show him as a kid, and Colin Firth is talking to him and stuff, and gives him like a little token or a little medallion to hold on to. Says if he's ever in trouble, call the number on it or something like that. This Eggsy is played by, when he's grown up later, is played by Taron Egerton. I don't think he's really been anything else. It was kind of like his debut film. But he grows up, he's like kind of like a punk hoodlum in London, getting into trouble. His mom is remarried to like a kind of like a criminal guy, some sort of gangster, not like a big wig or anything like that, but I think kind of like a low-key gangster. And anyways, he's getting in trouble, gets arrested, calls the number on the medallion, and that's when he meets Galahad, Harry Hart, when he's a little bit older, and somebody had just been killed in the Kingsman, so they need a replacement, and so Harry recruits Eggsy to be in the Kingsman, but turns out there's a big class, so like a whole class of people that have to try out for the position. I think they're trying out for the Lancelot spot. They all have King Arthur names. And King Arthur, or Arthur, is played by Michael Caine, so he's the head of the Kingsmen. And then also there's a kind of a tech guy, so if you're comparing it to James Bond, he's like their Q is played by Mark Strong. He's Merlin. And anyway, so all these kids, they're going through this training process, and they're all trying out for one position in the Kingsmen. And while this is also going on, Galahad is trying to figure out a plot that's going on with the main villain, who's played by Samuel Jackson. His name's Valentine. He's like a big mogul, like a megalomaniac villain, like you'd typically see in a spy movie. He's he's like really famous, big industrialist or tech guy. He's like a technological genius or whatever. And he has a whole plot to destroy the world or parts of the world and stuff like that. So Galahad's trying to figure that out. And then he has Valentine also has like a sidekick named Gazelle. She has prosthetic legs, and the ends of her legs are like razor sharp blades that she uses um, pretty awesomely when fighting people. So yeah, I don't want to get really much more into the plot, but it revolves around Valentine's trying to disrupt the world somehow, and Eggsy's trying to go through this training to be a Kingsman, and eventually they have to stop Valentine. So it's kind of, I always go to the word parody, but it's not really parody, but just kind of in the genre of like James Bond movies, spy movies, like I mentioned. Excuse me. Like I mentioned, like M would be like Arthur, Michael Caine's character, and Q would be like Merlin here. So there's a lot of that going on. Some of the other movies that I made references to or connections with right away are the Men in Black, the beginning of that movie with Will Smith when he's doing the training with Tommy Lee Jones and stuff like that. There's him and a bunch of like other Army Rangers and stuff like that, and they're all going through that training. It's a very short scene in Men in Black, but here it's kind of like that, but it's extended. Also, another weird one kind of is Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but that's only in the fact that this is like another non-government spy agency. So I'm pretty sure that in that Mr. and Mrs. Smith, both Brad Pitt's character and Angelina Jolie's character, they worked for different spy agencies, but they're non-government agencies. So that was another weird kind of connection. Also Kick-Ass, because of the same director, same writer. It has the extremes of violence. There's one epic scene in this movie. I'll just say it's in a church, and it's scored to Leonard Skinner, Freebird. It's pretty awesome. It just like ramps up the violence tenfold, and you don't really know what's going on at first, and then it just like is like epic. That part's pretty sweet. But overall, the movie is really good. Has great fight scenes. It's funny, and again, it's it's very self-referential to other spy movies. They talk about Bond movies and stuff like that within the movie, so they know what they're doing. They know it's satirical and stuff like that. There is one big problem with Valentine's ultimate plan at the end, which I don't think it's like a plot hole or anything, or there's anything wrong with it. It's just kind of interesting to notice if he has everything go his way, or if everything were to work out in certain ways, there'd be a big problem with his plan. I don't want to ruin it and stuff though. So yeah, it's a good movie. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. That's been in theaters for a while, so I'm not sure how much longer it'll be in theaters, but if you're looking for a good action movie, I would definitely check it out in theaters. So yeah, I think that'll be it.